Okay, let's start. Hello, my name is Zhu Zhiyuan. In this video, I will demonstrate my AWS Cloud architecture. For this assignment, I'll briefly reflect on what I learned during the implementation. Firstly, the architecture. Overall, the architecture is designed with scalability, availability, and security in mind. In this manner, it may mainly use the EC2 auto-scaling, load balancing, and Amazon RDS. The solution is deployed inside the VPC. The architecture includes public subnet host EC2 web server, which are managed by auto-scaling group, and traffic is distribute use application load balancer. So let's get start one. Task 1. Identity and access management. For task 1, access management is centralized use the predefined lab rules in AWS IAM. All permissions for services such as EC2, VPC, RDS are attached to this single rule, so no separate IAM users or longer-term access keys are required. This approach improves security by using temporary credential and key permission management, simple and organized. So task 2 is about VPC and establish an EC2 web server setup. For task 2, design a secure VPC across the two available zones. From there, each zone contains public subnet and private subnet. Internet gateways allow public subnet to access internet, while NAT gateways enable private resources to access the internet securely. Also configure route table to ensure the correct traffic flow. HTTP of their traffic on port 18 and SSH access on port 22. So finally, I launch a EC2 instance use the default Amazon Linux AMI. Place in the public subnet, attach the security group, and verify the SSH connectivity. So task 3 is web feature deployment. For task 3, I deploy a web feature on EC2. I use the Windows shell. I connect to the instance via SSH and configure a simple web server to host the application. So it successfully run. The web feature is accessible through the public IP address and the response currently HTTP required. I confirm successfully access the web through the web browser. In task 4 is about instance scaling and monitoring. I focus on scalability and monitoring. First, I enable terminate the protect to prevent accidental deletion of the EC2 instance. Then I upgrade the instance type to improve performance. I use CloudWatch to monitor the CPU utilization, and this is the table. Task 5 is about storage expansion and backup. For task 5, I focus on storage expansion and backup. Use the EBS. First, I create EBS attached to my EC2, and after attach the volume, this is the volume. I configure the file system on instance and mount the volume, make it available for application data storage. Finally, I created the EBS snapshot to back up the volume. The snapshot can be used for feature data restoration to create new volume, which improve data durability and disaster recovery capability. So it's task 6 is about database integration. I design a related database architecture using RDS with MySQL. This RDS instance is designed to run inside the private subnet, and RDS security group allows the database access only from the web server. Security group on port 3303 ensures the database not publicly accessed. Due to the permission limited in the AWS Linux Labs environment, the RDS instead could be fully created, but network and security design follows AWS best practice. The next task is the task 7, auto scaling and loading balancing. For task 7, I implement auto scaling and load balancing of each of these. This AMI used in auto scaling group, which automatically launch or terminate the EC2 instance based on the demand. The application load balancers distribute the traffic across highly house increase the use of target group with configuring health check. Is set up in finally is the personal reflection and learning outcome. Through this assignment, I gained the hands-on experience and design and deploy the cloud infrastructure use AWS. I learned how multiple AWS services integrate together and how to design systems that are scalable and secure. One major challenge has dealt with the service permanent restriction in the lab environment. I address this by focusing on current architecture design AWS best practice rather than only the final result. Thank you for watching my presentation. This concludes my demonstration and reflect for assignment.